What's up, everyone? I wanted to make a pretty cool video today. I think it's a cool story that we have here about a young guy like myself making something out of nothing or just out of an interest. So we have Pat here. I did an eye critique of his photos recently. How's it going, Pat?
Pretty good yourself?
It's going. We're making a YouTube video here.
I'm excited.
Are you? Well, so is everyone else and this guy. And so today we're just going to make a quick video. He's got an awesome story to say about how he kind of got into the business, and I think it will help a lot of you guys out. So let's do it. All right, so I'm here with Pat Jacoby. He is a sports photographer. Actually, I'm just kidding. He's a model, and I just gave him the gear to make this video.
This isn't actually mine. He just handed it to me and said, hey, pretend to be a photographer.
That's enough. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I thought it'd be a really cool story to say how Pat kind of got his way, just like we talked about in the intro. And I just want to show you guys how you could do it as well. There is no set way into photography, videography, or anything like that. You kind of have to make your way yourself. That's what I had to do. That's what Pat definitely has done. And once again, just wanted to tell you guys about it. And also just for audio, just don't mind me using this and kind of going back and forth. The audio might sound is great. I just don't have another lav, so we'll do it this way. The one huge thing is, obviously you're into sports. Followed your work. We've been friends in school, already a couple years already. Holy hell, that's awesome. How did you get into photography, or what was something that started you into your, into your venture?
It was actually my sister's playing soccer, and I picked up a generic point-and-shoot camera, just like almost every other photographer's backstory. Picked up a little point-and-shoot, started shooting her soccer games, and I just ended up loving it, loving capturing the sport moments, the really intense shots, and doing all that with a point-and-shoot. I just decided, you know what, I need to start getting into the DSLR game and starting to buy some from there and going with that.
And one of the cool things that says, like, you had gear. It's not the best gear. It's not a Canon 1DX. It's not a D4S. If you want one, I will go buy you one. I'm just kidding.
I'll take one.
Yeah, so would I. But you didn't have the best gear. You had what you had, and you just did what you could. And that's the thing of, I kind of want to jump into college, and because that's where everything starts. That's where your business kind of began, from nothing to something. So kind of jump into college and what happened, and just really, how did you start yourself in college?
Well, I got my first DSLR in junior year of high school, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'm finally moving up to the big leagues. But I came to college with my own camera, thought I don't need to borrow anybody else's, and I was really into sports. So I went to the athletic department and said, hey, are you guys doing anything with like the website? I'm a photographer. Do you need any help with photography, video, stuff like that? And they said, well, we've got some students doing that already for us, and we also hire a professional photographer. So I thought, it's still probably good to put myself out there, at least go and try it. And my boss at the time said, come to a few soccer games and we'll see what you can do. Maybe I'll use something. If it's good, maybe it's not. Win-win for both of us. I got some more collegiate experience through it. He got some free photos. So it was a win-win for both of us, and he ended up liking my stuff. He didn't end up using any of my stuff my freshman year, but as the years... It's
about experience. That's why.
Yeah. And as the years went on, I started doing more and more, and I started working more in the office too, and starting doing a lot more video, because nowadays you have to do everything from social media to video to photography, and it started all with photography. And when I graduated, I was doing everything from tweeting during games to taking pictures to live broadcasting all the games. So it's definitely a field that you have to do a lot of stuff in and just grow your resume. And really, the more you can do, the more versatile you can be, the more people will want you to work for them.
That's true. And the one key thing that you touched on, and that it happened for me as well, is you just made yourself known. You went out there and shot, like you just said. You went out there and shot. You did what you wanted to do, and it got noticed by the athletic director and all. And you were doing the back end stuff. That's how you get into things. You didn't necessarily go out and say, I'm going to shoot. I'm a professional. I've got 200 to 400 lens. No, you started by shooting, but not really shooting. But then you went above and beyond that. So I guess so that's your story about how you got into it. So before I ask something else, what are you doing like now? Like where did you transition from college, from just necessarily shooting some things? Like how did you turn kind of a school job into something else out of graduation?
Well, it was a little bit of good timing, and it was a little bit of what I just said before, is doing everything and being reliable as a worker too. And I put so many hours into the athletic department while I was at the school, and when I came in my freshman year, like I said, my boss said, hey, we don't know if we're going to use any of your stuff. We have a professional photographer. Well, by my sophomore year, my boss didn't hire a professional photographer because he had me doing a lot of work for him. Might not have been on the same quality, but I was giving him more photos. I was at every sporting event, and that's kind of where we went with the photo game. And by my senior year, he thought, hey, I'm going to lose my photographer now. Am I going to have to go out and hire a new one, have to pay that money for it? And it was a win-win for both of us that I kind of just slid right back into that photographer spot. So where he got rid of that professional photographer when I came in, I'm now back into that professional photographer that he hired after work or after I graduated. So it's definitely a win-win. I still get to do what I love, and he gets a cheaper professional photographer that
for now.
For now till the price goes up. But it was definitely set up by good timing and a need of the department, but definitely it was all set up because I put myself out there and because I diversified what I can do and just went out there and took a chance at it my freshman year.
Yep. And I think that's what exactly as you said. Be diverse. Go out there, do it. Get exposed. You're not going to do anything by just sitting at home. I want to shoot photos. Go out and shoot photos. Go out to the nearest field. As you said, he's been doing sports and since freshman year, well, junior year of high school, you've just been, moseying around with it. But then you really got into it, and then things just happened. And sometimes that's all it takes is great timing, and timing really helps. So I just think that's an awesome thing how you turned literally, I guess, nothing into something. Now you're freelancing for the school, and you're providing your own site. You're providing them with photos, and it's of good quality. It's not just like, oh, it's taking photos anymore. You got the gear, you got what you need. I guess what if you had to give one tip to someone coming out of high school or college, what would you tell someone? What would you, I guess, one piece of advice, I guess maybe photography, for sports, I guess in general since we're there, or kind of business in general, because I have a bunch of videos on them, but kind of give an outside perspective.
I'll give two pieces of advice real quick. I'll steal one from Nike, and that's just do it. Just go out there and shoot. Whatever it is you love, go shoot it. If you love soccer, like I love soccer, I went out and I shot my sister's soccer games. If you don't have a sibling, you don't have any family, just go out to the local park. Start shooting baseball. Start shooting the little leagues that are around your park, and soon that might even turn into a business for you. You'll have the parents saying, oh, hey, can we see your photos? Let them see your photos, and they might actually pay you.
One thing I want to add with that is just being around, showing your face, having a camera, you become known as the photographer in the area, and I'm pretty much certainly that's what happened for you, especially at college.
Yeah, the president of the school that I went to still doesn't know my name right now. He just knows me as the cameraman, but I mean, his face lights up whenever he sees me, and he says, "Hey, the cameraman." Yep, I'm the cameraman. So just being there with a camera, obviously you have to be shooting the photos to call yourself a photographer, but definitely just going out and just doing it, just shooting. And if you love what you're shooting and you love shooting, you're going to love doing it just for the fun of it. The second piece of advice I can say is that if you're going out and you think that's something you might do after school, take some business courses, get some experience in doing taxes, doing business stuff with money, and even doing retail. Work in retail for a little bit, because you need to be able to talk to your customers when you own your own business, especially if, like yourself, you're a wedding photographer. I'm sure you have to go to the bride and talk to the family about, hey, this is what I can offer you, this is what I can't offer you, this is what other people might be offering you, and
here's what separates me, makes it special, more unique. Yeah.
Learning how to sell a product will help you sell your product.
Because, and exactly what you're saying, yeah, it's about photos, but it's not about photos. It's about yourself. You have to sell yourself. Yeah, your photos could sell, but there's so many people in this market. It's so diversified. It's so saturated. You have to find a way to sell yourself and sell, what you do and what you make. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Just to that last point, I have to say that it's the quality of the photo speaks, and it will always speak. But like you said, if you don't sell the product, a Lexus isn't just going to sell itself. You need the businessman to sell the Lexus. So
I'll take one then.
Yeah, I'll take one too.
But is there any last-minute tips, not in regards to business, but any kind of just sports stuff, real quick, that you have off the top of your head that you can give someone just coming out? What are just some, what do you have to think about? Not necessarily about gear. You can talk about gear till you die, but like, I guess, mentality. Give a final mentality, and we'll just like wrap it up.
My mentality from day one has always been find the moment, and the best sports photographs are always the peak of the action. If you've got a tennis player, it's always the tennis ball's up in the air and the racket's about to hit the ball. Or if you have a running back running with a football, they're always diving over the plane of the touchdown. Or the crack of the bat, the ball wrapped around the bat.
That's hard to do, by the way.
And I've done it too. I've done it a few times, but I still, those are my favorite photographs, and those are always the photographs that get the most views, get the most comments from people. Especially, I got one photo a few years ago of a metal baseball bat breaking during the at bat. Swung the bat in. I think he got a base hit off of it, or a double, one of the two. So he got a hit. And I have a picture of the ball in the frame, batter in the frame, and the bat that is broken in front of him. And it's always just, you have to be there, and you have to pick your moments, timing is everything in sports photography. So if I have to give one piece of advice, it's that, is timing is everything, and even just watching a sport before you shoot it helps, because you know what to expect and when to expect it.
Anticipation, that's key. Pat, thank you so much for speaking with me, speaking with everyone here. It's great to have you on once again. Anyone could do this type of stuff, not just anyone, but if you can really put your mind to it, if you can really just find out what you want to do, what your niche is, go out there, do it. Let's Nike this up. Let's go do it. Not sponsored by. Just do it. Go out there, do it. Put yourself in a good situation. Find the right connections. Even if it's emailing, going to someone's office and being like, hey, I want to do this. You'll get a shot. And even if you don't right away, don't give up. You might get something down the road. So that's all I got. As I said, some great sports insight right here. Pat's doing this now, freelancing, basically almost full time. He goes to all the home games, around where he lives, especially at our college. And, yeah, it's great there. So that's all I got today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comments below. And I'm going to leave a link to Pat's work down in the description as well.